What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I am super excited today because that's right, Buick Regal. We finally got the closeout panel for these things. I know it's been a long wait and we think we got it dialed in. Actually, this video is going to be showing you guys what you're going to be getting in your kit and how to install it. Let's take a look real quick on what this thing looks like without it. I mean, you probably know, but you can see, I mean, this one here, this is a local car from here in town. My buddy of mine, he let us borrow it for us to do our thing. But look at it. I mean, it looks pretty plain Jane and really ugly, if you ask me. I mean, I don't know what GM was thinking or not, right? But I mean, look at this gap that it creates in this area, or it's there from the factory. Not only does it look like crap, but you're really not getting a good solid closed out air pocket coming into that radiator. Now there is one that comes here from factory, and I'm going to show you guys here in a second. You're going to have to remove that one to put in our kit, but I mean, you can see how bad that looks. Let's take you over to the bench. Now before we go over to the bench, there's one modification you're going to have to do, and we might as well talk about it right now, because without this modification this was not going to work. Now the OEM hood is designed to kind of shut and then live right in this pocket right here, right? There's a little trim piece, I should say, almost like a hangover off the hood itself, is this little guy right here. That guy right there sits in that pocket. So what's gonna end up having to happen, you guys are gonna have to trim this hood a little bit, but not much. You're literally gonna do it on both sides. You're gonna go from that line, you see that line kind of where the new sheet metal starts, from there, and just zip it all the way across until you get to there, right there. Now we already did it on this side. Let me show you guys. It really, you can't even tell. I mean, that's it right there after trimmed. You can't even tell, you guys. On this corner though, I should say on each corner of the hood, this corner you're gonna have to trim a little bit more than the rest. Once you trimmed out the fat, I should say, you trim that out to that body line right here, to this other piece of sheet metal. You're gonna zip it again, maybe another 3 millimeters on this corner from here. Let me see if I can bring this hood down. Just about from the corner of that hood, just maybe to there, to where that indented. Just trim it again, like another 3 millimeters off that corner right there. Because what's gonna happen is, if you don't do that, when it goes to sit in this area right here, it's gonna hit your panel. It's just no other way around it, you guys. If you do not do that, once again, you guys, this panel kit is not gonna work. All we're doing is using a little cutoff wheel like this. Nothing crazy. If you got a grinder, you can use that too. It's pretty simple. It literally should take you no more than 10 minutes to do that. And then you can clean it up, deburr it with one of these guys right here, sandpaper, whatever you guys got. Not too shabby, you guys, not too shabby at all, man. This thing looks so good already just sitting on the bench here, you guys. So this is what you can expect to get in your kit. Now mind you, there are going to be two options: raw finish like this, raw aluminum finish, so that way you guys can take it, polish it, or even paint it or powder coat it to match your car, your build, or satin black. We will be offering satin black finish with, along with two different choices of hardware. As you can see here, we have the polished hardware here. You're going to have the aluminum style washers, or you can have black washers as well. So you can do one or the other. You can even mix match them if you would like. You can do black washers with the raw finish, or you can do black satin finish with the raw washers. Now what you can expect in this kit as far as hardware, you guys go, you're going to have everything you're going to need to bolt this thing up, and then some. So you are also going to get these little black gaskets. These black gaskets will go underneath the washer just to help preserve that panel. Also, you're going to get all the bolts, of course, and you're going to get these two little standoffs, we call them here. I'll show you guys in a second on what those are for, what you can use them for. And you're going to also get a pair of nuts. These guys here, those will, you'll be going in this hole here. And because this hole from the factory does not have a built-in nut or insert in there, so you're going to get a nut to go on the back side of that. But let me go show you on the car and what it takes to put this on. This is that factory piece that goes in here. you're definitely going to have to remove that guy there. Make sure you remove this one. This is the first thing you're going to do, is remove this guy here and throw it away. I don't care what you guys do with it, but that's going to be replaced. You're going to have these studs that stick out of the actual fascia, the bumper, whatever you want to call this thing. You usually have, I want to say 3, 2 on the outsides and then 1 in the middle. Now, I will say this, you're going to lose the 1 in the middle support-wise. You definitely will lose it, but it's not a big deal because you still technically have 2 on the outsides as well. But we do provide you with the new nuts there, and you'll see it here in a sec with the panel. And also for that side. So another thing you're going to want to remove, obviously you got the 3 bolts that hold the fender to the core support here. You're going to want to remove these guys here. We've already removed these for the purpose of this video. This should be just a 1/2-inch socket, I believe. And you're also going to want to remove that guy there. That guy is a 10mm bolt. Now the next most important step after that is you're going to want to clean these threads, because these threads are 20-30 plus years old now. When you go to put that new bolt in there, you're going to want to use a tap to clean these out. Now these are going to be M8 bolts. You're going to want to use an M8 by 1.25 tap to clean these guys out. Run the tap through them before you do anything. Run the tap through them. Also, these guys down here, these are going to be an M6 bolt. You're going to want to run that tap through there, M6 by 1.0. The actual, if you guys need the tap information, it'll also be on the website when you guys purchase your kit. Now, after you do that, before you even start, take your bolt, take your M8 bolt or wherever you just ran your tap through, and make sure it goes down smooth. If it does not go down smooth, then you need to run that tap again, or your fender and core support might be not aligned as well. So make sure you guys do that before you get started, or else you have issues putting this thing in. Now, another trick I like to do, the same thing we did with the Cutlass, is you're going to have a little screwdriver here. Sometimes when you take these bolts out, you'll tend to get separation from the fender and the core support. So what you can do is you can do one at a time. Once you have your panel on, you can take this guy and then bring it back to center. You take that screwdriver and just pull it basically together and bring it back to center, and you should be able to start a bolt and then so on, and tighten one at a time. Let me show you. As a matter of fact, let's get that panel here. You got these little standoff spacers like that. You're actually going to put this guy right there on that stud right there. You're going to put the spacer on the studs. As a matter of fact, we're going to put 2, right? We're going to start off with 2 and see how that goes. Every car might be slightly different. You might only need 1 just depending on the fitment panel, but we're going to start off with 2 and then we'll go from there. Now the next step, you're going to take your panel, kind of start and tuck it here on underneath that nut there, right? And then tuck it underneath the fascia as well. And you can see you should have some nice, good, decent alignment right there, as long as this car has never been in an accident or anything like that. And you're going to kind of come down and put a little bit of pressure down here to get that thing to fall in place. Now once you have that, you're going to first start by putting that bolt in there first with the nut, and then you leave it nice and loose just like that, and then nut as well on the back side. Once again, do not tighten this thing up just yet. You're just going to put it on there to kind of suck that panel down a little bit, and then so it doesn't move too much. We're going to come over here and try to line up these bolts as well. Once again, make sure your threads are clean. Now these bolts here are going to be a T45 head on that thing, so you're going to need a T45 Torx bit. All right, once again, we're not tightening anything just yet because we want to make sure we get a decent alignment over here for this panel. We'll tighten everything at towards the end. Next up, we got that center piece here. Now this one's a little bit tricky also because it is a nice tight fit, you guys. Now this one, you're gonna get in here, and you might even have to pull on this front bumper here a little bit outwards a little bit just to get it tucked underneath this, because this thing wants to live underneath. So we're going to start it by aiming it down in here. We want to get it in this nice little crevice in here between the core support and the actual fascia itself. So you're going to get in there, and you're going to get it pushed down in there, something like that, like so. There we go. That wasn't too bad at all. Now obviously you have 4 bolts in here that you're going to line up. This is where your screwdriver is going to come in handy as well. You're going to kind of manipulate those holes a little bit and then move it around to where you guys need them, to where they line up. Everything lines up just nice and tight. I think we got them in a decent position. We're going to go ahead and put our bolts in and just start them. Same thing, we're just going to kind of start them in there and make sure they go nice and smooth down. Now once again, if you got any kind of binding, I hope you guys ran that tap through there before that. If not, it would just be an alignment issue. You should be able to hand thread those in for the most part. If you have to, you guys, I know every car is a little bit different from the factory, or even if it's been in an accident or it's been an aftermarket core support swapped out, you might have to go ahead and drill a couple of these holes out a little bit. Just make them a little bit wider if you need to, but that's also what the washers are for, you guys. You'll never see any of that, but you can see it's going to fit pretty freaking good. Now the smaller bolt is a Torx 30. This one's going to be a Torx 30. The big one, the M8, it's going to be a Torx 45. Now before we do anything else and we tighten anything else, I'm going to put that nut on right here. These are these little cap nuts like that. You should have them in your kit. We're going to tighten those down first, just in case this panel wants to move or get sucked in. So you want to tighten these up first before you tighten all the other Torx bits. I think we got those nuts where we want them, you guys. That is just a 10mm nut there. Now we can go ahead and start torquing this center section down, you guys. And like, once again, if you need to manipulate a panel here and there, do it before you tighten anything down. I always start with the middle. Start with the middle panel, get the middle panel where you need it, and then tighten that down, and then work your way towards the outside of the panels. That way everything is sitting where you guys want it to sit. Not too shabby, huh? Not too shabby. All you got left to do is actually you got to put your bumpers back in for your hood bumpers. You definitely want to have those out when you're putting these panels in. Definitely not going to work with them on, but that looks freaking sharp, you guys. I am digging it. Not only is it going to work, it's going to help you guys when you guys are working on your car. You put your tools down, you put your screwdriver down, it's not going to fall through it. You guys already know how annoying that is. Not to mention it's going to keep airflow nice and cool through that radiator. I like that a lot. Very functional as well. Now if you guys want to go one step even further, you can do our radiator cover to match this thing. It still has the fan that's belt driven from the water pump there, so you can't run it because you would lose your fan shroud, right? You'd have to go electric fans. But if you do decide, you definitely can do something like that. Check that out. We do that guy there. I mean, you guys can see what it's going to look like. That just completely finishes the look like that. Look at that. Just looks so freaking sharp. So good, you guys. Those are also available in a just plain, nothing, just flat finish without the holes. So make sure you guys check them out. Same thing, available in aluminum or satin black, gooseperformance.com. I think that's going to do it for this video, you guys. Make sure you guys hit the thumbs up and the subscribe button and hit the bell for notifications. You guys already know. Stay wrenching.